Nostalgia driving the retro gaming revival. The resurgence of retro gaming is largely fueled by nostalgia. Many gamers who grew up with classic consoles like the NES, Sega Genesis, or SNES are eager to relive their childhood memories. This emotional connection to older games and hardware is a powerful motivator, driving the demand for vintage consoles and games. The appeal of simpler, classic games. Retro games often feature simple, yet addictive gameplay, which contrasts with today's complex and graphics-intensive titles. The ease of picking up and playing these older games appeals to both seasoned gamers and newcomers looking for straightforward fun. This accessibility is one reason why retro gaming continues to grow in popularity. The limited availability of classic games. Classic games on retro consoles can be hard to find, which increases their value. Limited production runs and the scarcity of physical copies make vintage games highly desirable among collectors. The thrill of tracking down rare games has created a growing market for retro gaming, making old consoles more sought after. The role of retro gaming consoles and mini versions. To capitalize on the demand for retro gaming, companies have re-released mini versions of classic consoles like the Nintendo NES Classic and Sega Genesis Mini. These updated versions offer modern conveniences such as HDMI output and built-in games, making them attractive to a new generation of gamers, while still appealing to collectors. Digital marketplaces reviving old games. Digital marketplaces like the Nintendo eShop, PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live Arcade have contributed to the rise of retro gaming by offering classic games for download. This accessibility allows gamers to play old favorites on modern consoles, giving them the opportunity to experience nostalgic titles without needing the original hardware. Social media and online communities for retro gamers. Online communities and social media platforms have fostered a sense of belonging for retro gamers. From forums to YouTube channels, these spaces allow enthusiasts to connect, share their collections, and discuss rare finds. This has played a significant role in elevating retro gaming into a mainstream hobby once again. The role of game emulators in retro gaming. Game emulators have been instrumental in making retro games accessible without the need for old consoles. By replicating classic hardware on modern PCs and mobile devices, emulators allow gamers to experience titles from any generation. This has opened up retro gaming to a wider audience, as it removes the barrier of expensive vintage hardware. Retro gaming as a way to experience gaming history. For many, retro gaming offers an educational experience in gaming history. Older consoles and games mark significant milestones in the evolution of gaming technology and design. Exploring these classics allows gamers to appreciate how far the industry has come, making retro gaming an integral part of understanding the medium's past. The economics of retro gaming collecting. Collecting retro games and consoles has become a profitable venture. The rarity of certain titles and systems has led to a booming market for vintage gaming products. High-end collector's items can fetch impressive prices, with certain games and consoles appreciating in value over time, making retro gaming an investment as much as a hobby. The future of retro gaming. As retro gaming continues to grow in popularity, its future looks bright. Whether through digital re-releases, mini-consoles, or the thriving second-hand market, classic games are poised to remain an enduring part of the gaming culture. As long as the nostalgia remains strong, retro gaming will continue to capture the hearts of both old and new generations of players.